Right, so what I'm going to do is take a little sponge like this and I'll wet it with the water, squeeze the excess out just so it's a little bit damp. And I'm just going to pat into the face paint and then just start dabbing this on, starting at the temple, just here, and building up the colour. And this is where we can start getting creative, and it doesn't have to be neat. As long as you've got sunset colours, it's basically the same as being on a beach, I think. So just patting that down, and then what I'm going to do is take the same sponge, wiggle into the orange colour, make sure that's all coated, and you want to go half on the yellow and then half below it. This is how you're going to start getting your blends, because what we want is like the blues to start coming, like the blues and purples to start coming when you're at your cheeks. So I'm just going to get a little bit more of the orange. And you want to make sure that your sponge isn't too wet, otherwise the paints are going to run, because these are water based. The paint will run as soon as they get wet. So you just want to be a little bit careful of that. And then if you take your clean side, just pass over and blend it. So then I'm just going to dampen my sponge again, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And if you want to make sure you've got like a tissue or a wipe or, oh that's where I was practicing, anything next to you, just so you can wipe your sponge. Just try and get it as clean as possible. And then I'm going to dip into the bright pink shade, still using the same sponge. Wiggle that in, make sure the sponge is all coated, and again half onto the orange, half below it, and just keep adding more paint until you're happy with the colour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that with a bit of the red, just try and make it a little bit darker. Yeah, more like that, like a corally colour, and start bringing that down onto the cheeks like so. Then I'm going to dampen the sponge again, and I'm going to dip into the purple shade. I'm really wiggling that in, lots of wiggling, right? And then I'm going to go below the pink. So I'm just going to mix a bit of the blue in, the deeper blue, with the purple, just try and make it look a little bit darker. Oh yeah, that's better. That looks a bit more purple, doesn't it? Yeah. So then again, bringing this down onto your cheekbone and doing half over the pink, half below. And then I'm going to dip just into the blue and stamp that. Doesn't really matter if the blue and purple mix together, because they're basically the same anyway. Rinse yours in the sink with some soap and get all the colour off. So I'm just going to dab it in some water and go in and just re-go over some of the colours that may have gone missing in the process. Just like this pink one. And then I'm going to go in with a bit more orange. Just brighten that up. And here we have the sunset base. So now that this was all dry, what you'll notice is you'll know it's dry because it starts to look more like an eyeshadow than a face paint. That's what we want. So I'm going to show you how to use the brush it comes with, but also I have a smaller brush in case anyone has any paintbrushes at home. Probably try and use the smaller brush just so you can get that extra detail, but if you can't, it's fine. It's all just for a bit of fun. So I'm just going to wet the brush, then tap off a little bit of the water and swirl into the black, and you want it to feel a bit like a paste. That's the only way I can describe it really, because you don't want it too runny. You want to work it in and turn it into a bit of a paste. That way you've got more control over it when you're trying to draw your palm tree. So what I'm going to do is start sketching out a little line and just bringing it to by where the eyebrows are. eyebrow is. And just keep going over that until it gets a little bit darker. So, coat the brush. I'm gonna do one line. And don't worry about the shape of them just yet. Just get your lines so you know where your leaves are gonna be. I'm gonna do one coming down like this. One towards the eyeshadow. And then just coat the brush again. Making sure the brush is nice and flat and thin. Then, ooh, yeah, I'll do one coming down here. And one going up. So then what you want to do is coat the brush again and start to fill out the leaves so they're a little bit wider at the bottom and go thinner towards the end. And just keep doing the same. Go wider and thinner. Just like so. Then just going to add a tiny bit more water because you want to make sure the paint is still like a paste. So that's what the palm tree should look like on that side. Right, so for this side I'm going to do a little mini dolphin, maybe two, and then what I'm going to do is again make the paste in the black paint. And this one's using a thinner brush, so I probably wouldn't do this if you've got only the wider brushes, but if you have got a little thin brush lying around anyway, I'd use this. So we'll do the body first. We're just gonna create the shape of the dolphin's body. Right. Its nose. And underneath and along. Then when you get to the bottom, you just want to add its little tail, like so. And don't worry too much about if it's a bit patchy, you can just go in and fix it a bit later. That's what it looks like so far. Then we want to add the little fin onto the top. And start to colour in like a little shadow. And just keep playing with it until you're happy with it. And you need to make the thing a little longer. Just like that. And then just add the small little fin for underneath. And this one's just a little baby fin. Like that. So then, once it's done the baby dolphin, I'm just going to add another little palm tree here, and then we're going to do the sun, and we're done. So, again, I'm just going to use the thinner brush, create the paste, and draw a line up. I'm just going to sit this one a little bit higher as well. Plan where my leaves are going to go. I'm thinking one there. Like that. And there. It doesn't matter if it's going into your hairline. That's the effect. Looks like a proper picture. And then one down here. One below. And just one going up. And as well, don't worry about getting in your hair because they're only water based, they're easy to come out. They're washable. Like so. So if you have got a smaller brush, I suggest using the smaller brush. If not, you can still create it using the brush that comes with the face paint. So what I'm going to do now is going to try and do a little sunrise moment here. So taking a clean brush from the set, from the two that came with the paint set, I'm gonna wet the brush and dab into the yellow and just create a little sun shape, only a little oval one, just in the middle of your eyebrows. Like so. And you just want to keep going over until you've got the best pigment. And the yellow is kind of shimmery as well, so it looks quite glowy, which is very sun vibes. So I'm going to go in with the light pink shade and just start to blend that around the bottom of our sun. Blending it up into the yellow, and what it should do is start to make a little gradient from like pink to orange to the yellow, and I'm just taking that above the eyebrows and feathering it along. I'm just using a dead light hand, just like so, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the orange and just lay that over the pink and go back in with the brush that we had the yellow on and just blend all the colours together like a mini sunset. But I'm just gonna as well use a bit of the yellow to drag down and just lighten that up. So that completes the face painting part. So just to complete the look, I'm gonna add some mascara. So I'm gonna use my Maybelline mascara and coat the lashes just to complete the eyeshadow portion. You want to get right in, and then on the bottom ones as well. And just to top it all off, I'm going to add a little lip gloss. Right, so this is the finished look. So I've done nice, very natural, beachy skin, and then just using our little palette and the two brushes, a little sponge, and I did cheat a little bit and use a mini paintbrush, but you don't have to, it's still all going to be doable with the other brushes that come with this little palette. I've created a little sunset look. I hope it's easy enough for everyone to follow along. I hope you really enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.